Special Forces units represent the pinnacle of military capability, combining rigorous selection processes, specialized training, and a wide array of skills to handle the most challenging and high-stakes operations. Here is an introduction to 5 of the most elite Special Forces units in the world. Number 5. The Huntsman Corps refers to an elite unit within the Danish Special Forces. Officially known as Jagerkorpset in Danish, this unit is renowned for its rigorous selection process, specialized training, and ability to carry out high-risk missions. The Jaeger Corps traces its origins to 1785 when the Corps was first formed as the Jaeger Corps of Zealand. Facing emerging threats from Sweden, Prussia, and Great Britain, Denmark created a light infantry force from hunters and woodsmen. The Corps existed in various forms until it was remade in its current form in 1962, when Major P.B. Larsen and First Lieutenant Jorgenling became the first two to complete the training. Throughout the Cold War, the Jaeger's primary tasking was that of a long-range reconnaissance unit, with wide renown for their skills in parachute operations. In the post-Cold War era, the Jaegers deployed for the first time in 1995 to Sarajevo with a 6-man counter-sniper team. In 2002, the Jaegers were deployed to Afghanistan as part of the Danish contribution to Task Force K-Bar, along with the Frogman Corps. During these operations, the Jaegers took part in reconnaissance, observations, capturing of high-value targets, and direct action raids on Taliban and Al-Qaeda positions. The first Jaeger to be killed in combat was in 2013 when a Jaeger was hit by an explosion in Afghanistan. 4 Jaegers had previously died during training accidents. Number 4. The Indian Marine Commandos, popularly known as Marcos, are one of the most elite Special Forces units in India. Formed in 1987, the Marcos are capable of undertaking operations in all types of terrain, but are specialized in maritime operations. The force has undertaken numerous joint exercises with special forces from around the world. As of 2012, the Marcos has about 2,000 personnel, though the exact number remains classified. All Marcos personnel are selected from the Indian Navy when they are in their early 20s and have to go through a stringent selection process and training. The selection standards are extremely high. The training regimen includes airborne operations, combat diving courses, counterterrorism, anti-hijacking, anti-piracy operations, direct action, infiltration and exfiltration tactics, special reconnaissance, and unconventional warfare. The pre-training selection process is made up of 2 parts. Indian Navy personnel who want to join Marcos must undergo a 3-day physical fitness and aptitude test. Within this process, 80% of the applicants are screened out. A further screening process known as Hell's Week is similar to the United States Navy SEALs' Hell Week. This involves a high degree of physical exercise and sleep deprivation. After this process, actual training begins. Around 80 to 85% of the volunteers who enroll fail to fully qualify as Marcos. The total duration of training of Marcos is between 7 and 8 months. Number 3. The GROM military unit is a Polish Special Forces unit and forms part of the Special Troops Command of the Polish Armed Forces. It is believed to consist of around 250 operatives plus support personnel. Each member of the unit is required to speak at least 2 languages and have basic medical skills. GROM operators gain the nickname of the Surgeons due to their extensive medical training and knowledge and their surgical ability to coordinate and execute special operations. GROM was formed in 1990 with training provided to the initial GROM operators by the U.S. Army Delta Force and the British Army Special Air Service. A 40-man GROM element deployed to Afghanistan in early 2002. For the 2003 invasion of Iraq, GROM formed the part of the core of the Naval Special Operations Task Group, along with U.S. Navy SEALs, British Royal Marines, and attached U.S. PSYOPs and civil affairs teams. On March 20, 2003, U.S. Marines and GROM operators assaulted the KAOT oil terminals. Both terminals were seized with no casualties, and explosives which were found on the terminals were made safe by GROM and SEAL operators. Candidates applying to serve in JWGROM have to pass psychological and durability tests, along with the so-called truth test, a physically and psychologically exhausting field test designed to filter out the weaker applicants. Approximately 75% of GROM personnel are trained as medics or paramedics. In addition, each group is supported by several professional physicians. GROM soldiers are trained in capture or kill methods. Number 2. The Special Air Service, SAS, is a special forces unit of the British Army. It was founded as a regiment in 1941 by David Stirling, and in 1950 it was reconstituted as a corps. Much of the information about the SAS is highly classified, and the unit is not commented on by either the British government or the Ministry of Defense due to the secrecy and sensitivity of its operations. SAS normally has a strength of 400 to 600. The regiment has 4 operational squadrons, A, B, D, and G. Each squadron consists of approximately 65 members commanded by a major, divided into 4 troops, each troop being commanded by a captain, and a small headquarters section. Troops usually consist of 16 members, and each patrol within a troop consists of 4 members, with each member possessing a particular skill like signals, demolition, medic, or linguist in addition to basic skills learned during the course of his training. The United Kingdom Special Forces do not recruit directly from the general public. All current members of the UK Armed Forces can apply for Special Forces selection, but the majority of candidates have historically come from a Royal Marines or Parachute Regiment background. Typically, only 10% of candidates make it through the initial selection process. Between 2014 and 2022, there were more deaths in training and exercises than in combat against armed threats. In a group of approximately 200 candidates, most will drop out within the first few days, and fewer than 30 will remain by the end. Those who complete all phases of selection are transferred to an operational squadron. Number 1. The United States Navy Sea, Air, and Land SEAL teams, commonly known as Navy SEALs, are the U.S. Navy's primary special operations force and a component of the Naval Special Warfare Command. Among the SEALs' main functions are conducting small unit special operation missions in maritime, jungle, urban, Arctic, mountainous, and desert environments. SEALs are typically ordered to capture or kill high-level targets, or to gather intelligence behind enemy lines. Since the 1960s, they have been involved in the Korean War, Grenada, the Iran-Iraq War, the Persian Gulf War, Panama, the war in Afghanistan, and Operation Enduring Freedom in the Philippines and Horn of Africa. Before getting accepted into basic underwater demolition or SEAL training, a prospective candidate must pass a certain number of both mental and physical requirements. The candidate must get a SEAL contract by passing the SEAL physical screening test, 500-yard swim in 12:30, 50 push-ups in 2 minutes, 50 sit-ups in 2 minutes, 10 consecutive pull-ups in 2 minutes, and a 1.5-mile run in 10:30. Candidates receiving a passing score may then be admitted into training to become Navy SEALs. SEAL training is extremely rigorous. The attrition rate fluctuates, but averages at about 80%. The average candidate spends more than a year in a series of formal training courses. As early as August 2015, it was reported that the Navy is planning to open its elite SEAL teams to women who can pass the grueling training regimen. The Washington Examiner reported on August 10, 2017. A woman aiming to become the first female Navy SEAL officer quit about a week into the initial training. Do you think you have what it takes to get into the world's best special forces? Do you know anyone who has passed the training or has given it a go? Also, check out my other cool stuff showing up on the screen now. See you next time.